Book Club. Over your chat book club. Today, as always, and forever, our book is The Technological Republic, Hard Power, Soft Belief, and the Future of the West. Alexander C. Karp and Nicholas W. Zamiska. This book was called Fascinating and Important. They're not familiar with the folks who wrote this book. They are heroes, shepherds, leaders. What's it called when you read someone specifically because they lost their way? An emergency leader. A dictator. In a good way. Preface says, actually, let's quickly just read the table of contents. If you don't have time to read a book, avoid Wikipedia, avoid SparkNotes, read the table of contents. You write the fucking book in your head. All you have to know is the names of the chapters. Alright, and this is the exercise. Reading me the table of contents, you write the book. Figure 1 is the unicorn. This is list of figures, my bad. Guys, apparently there are illustrations in this, and they list the illustrations titles in advance, my bad. Here's the contents. Part 1, The Software Century. Lost Valley. Sparks of Intelligence. The Winner's Fallacy. End of the Atomic Age. Part 2, The Hollowing Out of the American Mind. And these are Americans writing this, I think. Are you allowed to say this as an American? I think it's anti-American to speak to the hollowing out of the American mind. And if any American says this about America, even if they're right, I say, you don't even know what it's like being inside this hollowed out mind, sir. Imagine if I said, the inefficiency of the kilometer. A Brit might say, he's spitting, but he doesn't even know how deep it goes. The hollowing out of the American mind, the abandonment of belief, technological agnostics, a balloon cut loose, flawed systems that has quotes. Lost in Toyland. Part 3, the engineering mindset, the Ek-swarm, the improvisational startup, the disapproval of the crowd, building a better rifle, a cloud or a clock. Part 4, rebuilding the technological republic. Into the desert, piety and its price, the next 1,000 years, real heads know, an aesthetic point of view. Are you allowed to call something a dog whistle if it's got 260 pages? Does that count as a dog whistle? Or is that a dog symphony? Guys, the bloodhounds are crooning. Yep, I just hit Guinness Book. 500 dog whistles played in unison without stopping. I invented a wind machine. I invented a wind machine to blow a dog whistle for 100 years. This should get them barking. I've solved the problem of barkless dogs. Chapter 1, Lost Valley. Silicon Valley has lost its way. Alright, maybe I'll buy this. That's the moment, after perusing the table of contents and the first sentence, you think, time to buy this. This, and a chocolate croissant, from Barnes & Noble. That's hitting. Silicon Valley has lost its way. They're lost. We need to shepherd them again. The herd of sheep, they haven't lost their way. They're just being sheep. If a sheep has really lost its way, you call your losses. Damn, that sheep does not want to be penned. I guess that sheep is simply for the wolves. If a sheep can't fucking get the vibe, oh, I live in this shed. After 10 days of the honeymoon phase with your sheep, you get a sense for whether or not it belongs in a shed or if it's simply wolf gruel. If Silicon Valley has lost its way, what's wrong with letting it die? I don't know, I just have does this just speak to the Silicon Valley mindset that death is, another problem to be solved? Hey, guys, newsflash, when something loses its way, it's either time to stick it in a home or pull the plug. No, but it was a fun romp, what we were doing. The technology was supposed to get even better. How much better can it get? Everyone seems to like where things are at. I look around. I don't know about you. I'm a perceptive fella. I look around. People like their phones. Hey, would you like it if your phone did a ton of shit that you didn't like? Not really. Then you have no idea about how Silicon Valley lost its way. It started giving people free entertainment. It started giving people free entertainment and advertisements perfectly curtailed to their darkest desires. That's not good. It needs to give you everything you want and more, meaning everything you don't want too. What does this company, which I won't say the name, but we're all thinking it, this company here, what are their ambitions? Well, they kindly told us. They kindly told us. Talk about a table of contents. Guys, the table of contents is almost as long as the book itself. The first thing should be here, there's a mass illiteracy crisis. So we need to start condensing books into long tweets. Because we get asked a lot. The Technological Republic in brief. Because we get asked a lot, guys, try not to sound like you're talking to a room full of special ed kids. Please, give us some grace. I know we're slow. We don't have access to all the same potions you do. But we want to know what is inside the book. Some of us just can't afford it. Some of us are struggling to make ends meet, and it doesn't seem wise to spend $25 on a fucking book. It's not because we're stupid. We can't afford books. Because we get asked a lot. Okay, you're a teacher. Don't get mad at me because I have a fucking question. What happened to no stupid questions? The Technological Republic in brief. 1. Silicon Valley owes a moral debt to the country that made its rise possible. You know, an editor might say, Silicon Valley owes a moral debt to the country that made it possible. Just saying. The engineering elite of Silicon Valley has an affirmative obligation to participate in the defense of the nation. Interesting. They weaseled in this magic word here. I don't remember that in the table of contents. Moral debt is one thing. Defense is quite another. Defense of the nation. I think I see where they're going with this. Tanks and drones, things like that. Never occurred to me that Zuck would be good at a mortar launcher. Let's use an app, too. We must rebel against the tyranny of the apps. Ha 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 ha. How'd you do that? Maybe one of those apps that blocks it. If you go on it too long, we must rebel against the tyranny of the apps. We need to invent a camera that counts your push-ups so that you can go back on Twitter. Is that what it's going to say? Is the iPhone our greatest creative, if not crowning? We mean our. I don't think the iPhone is ours. I'm pretty sure a turtlenecked cancer patient made that. Is the iPhone our greatest creative, if not crowning achievement as a civilization? The object has changed our lives. The object. The object. Alright, you're getting brought out of first grade math to go see the guidance counselor. The teacher suspects you might be gifted. Here's the gifted test. Little Chad, can you define for me car in one cogent, pithy sentence? Sure, a car is an object that moves around. By God, he's gifted. He used the word object. The object has changed our lives, but it also may now be limiting and constraining our sense of the possible. Yeah, it might be. The iPhone. We must rebel against the iPhone. Wait, because it might not be the crowning do we have to rebel against anything that is or isn't a crowning achievement? That requires rebellion now? What are we on a fucking pirate ship? This captain has grit. But what we need now is vision. Let's grit him into oblivion and find a visionary out there in the wide, blue yonder. Not everything requires rebellion. What's tyrannical about apps? Is it tyrannical to function? The tyranny of what else just simply works? The toilet. Hey, if your toilet flushes, don't you get a tyrannical fucking vibe from it every once in a while? Oh, every day with this fucking toilet. It always flushes. Never does it betray that it doesn't know what to do. Free email is not enough. The decadence. I can't stress enough that these thoughts don't go together. Free email is not enough. I hope the next sentence invokes the idea of email. No, decadence, civilization. Holy fuck. Were the Nazis this tricky? Or did they simply say, kill the Jews to save the fatherland? I guess they were kind of tricky. There were a lot of filler words. I don't speak German, but he probably couldn't just come out and say it. Free email is not enough. Imagine Hitler saying that. Free email is not enough. We used to be a proud people. The decadence of a culture and civilization, and indeed its ruling class. Thanks for that. That made me relax. Guys, everyone, slouch, untense your shoulders. Even the ruling class has decaded. Alright. It will be forgiven only if that culture is capable of delivering economic growth and security for the public. You lost me. Does an unremarkable, innocent sweetheart need to worry about constant attacks? Or can they rest on their sweet laurels? What's wrong with America, industry, the ruling class, the elites? Just playing nice, playing dumb. I miss when Americans played dumb. That was a good moment. That was nice. You guys remember 9/11 where they're like, how could they do this? That was a good feeling that we all agreed to do that. Why did this happen? Why did that feeling go away? I'm tired of this. Of course, everyone wants to kill us. Bro, you sound like Hassan. This is doing Hassan vibes. The question I'm gonna start to just see I can't read this fucking off. I'm taking so much psychic damage. Can you guys see my health bar going down as I read this? The atomic age is ending. This I know. This I know. The atomic age is ending. One age of deterrence, the atomic age, is ending, and a new age of deterrence built on AI is set to begin. Here's what I love. These 5 magic words. AI is set to begin. I know, right? AI is set to begin. Any minute now. Any minute now. Doomsday clock is now 10 seconds to midnight. Holy shit. That might mean that AI is gonna do that thing it does. It's backflip. It's magic backflip. Here's AI. Just sitting on the diving board. Ready? Are you guys looking? I practiced this at summer camp. This fucking cannonball's gonna blow your mind. Ready? American power has made possible an extraordinarily long peace. American power has made possible an extraordinary long peace. Right. A lot of hedging our bets in this sentence. So, a lot of things make possible peace. Even war makes possible peace. Makes it possible. The longest war in history has made possible a very, a very nice peace. A nice relief. A very long gooning sesh had made possible an extraordinarily vivid orgasm. But don't come yet. Too many have forgotten or perhaps taken for granted that nearly a century of some version of peace, yes. Guys, I want the AI that they have. This one's leaving all sorts of little intricacies. Every sequence of 5 words here is its own book. Some version of peace. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Yeah. Some people like it. Some. Other people think our piece is, well, they wouldn't call it bad. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, though. It's made possible some version of peace. You know what I'm talking about. Come on, man. Come on. The post-war neutering of Germany and Japan must be undone. What? Wasn't that the whole dude? That was the point. I thought the point was their neutering. Japan must stop making frilly little kitties. It has to be only Gundams from now on. Oh yeah. Germany has long been obsessed with its sausages and lederhosen and blonde pigtails. But it's time to bring back, I don't know, imagine a Germany that's not neutered. You know what I'm talking about? Guys, this is awesome. I was kidding. I was being classically sarcastic as I was dissing this, but I just love this crap. Number one, let's leave it at this. We must resist the shallow temptation of a vacant and hollow pluralism. You're only allowed to say this if you're a true pluralist, so let's see what they say. You're not allowed to call anything vacant and hollow unless you're about to advocate for the good version of it, right? We in America, okay, so far so good. True pluralists would use this as a pronoun. Let's keep that in mind. We in America, and more broadly the West, that's a big we, have for the past half-century resisted defining national cultures in the name of inclusivity. But inclusion into what? It's always good to end a definitive manifesto with an incomplete sentence with a question mark. Guys, if you're wondering how can I understand this, how can I write this, how can I get a manifesto of my own out there in the public, start paying to go to a WeWork, take Adderall, and just glance at your coworkers without ever opening up their laptop. You'll start thinking like this. Overdose on Adderall and watch people work at a Starbucks, and eventually you will come up with this manifesto. Your fingers will touch Google Docs, and before you know it, you'll be advocating for the very slight and, sort of a sleepy liquidation of the working class. Yeah. The atomic age is ending, blah blah blah, American power, blah blah blah, Germany, blah blah blah, violent crime, blah blah blah, public life, intolerance, religious belief. You guys get what I'm saying, right? These buzzwords should be doing the trick, right? Let's stop doing it. Let's stop doing all this and let's give up and let's start doing the other thing. You know what I'm saying? Whew. Scared. I'm scared. Guys, even if everyone was Chad, I don't know what we do about these people. Even if I live with an army of Chads, I don't even know how we would address this. Fuck, man.